It was an ordinary Tuesday morning at Hudson Motors, a luxury car dealership nestled in the heart of the city. The sleek cars, ranging from Rolls-Royces to Ferraris, gleamed under the showroom lights, casting long reflections across the polished floor. The staff bustled around attending to customers and polishing vehicles with an obsessive attention to detail, as they always did. They had seen many high-profile clients over the years, wealthy businessmen, actors, and politicians, but that day they were about to encounter someone they hadn't quite anticipated. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. Barron Trump, the youngest son of the former U.S. President Donald Trump, had been following his passion for luxury cars for some time. At 18, he was already known for his keen interest in the automotive world, a hobby he had developed quietly, away from the constant media spotlight that surrounded his family. His father's vast wealth had opened doors for him, and Barron had started making a name for himself in the world of high-end cars. He wasn't looking to make a scene. He simply wanted to test drive a few vehicles, explore his options, and maybe even buy something special. The staff at Hudson Motors didn't recognize Barron at first. After all, his presence was subtle, unassuming, nothing like the flamboyant entrances his father often made. As Barron walked into the showroom wearing a simple dark hoodie, jeans, and a pair of sneakers, he seemed like just another young man with an interest in expensive cars. The sales team was busy with other customers, but a young salesman named Greg approached Barron, eager to offer assistance. "Hi there, how can I help you today?" Greg said with a bright smile, though there was a certain air of hesitation. He hadn't yet recognized Barron for who he was, but there was something about him, his confident stance, his quiet demeanor, that felt different. Still, Greg maintained a professional smile, ready to do his job. Barron was looking at a row of high-end cars, his fingers brushing over the polished surfaces of a few of the most expensive models. He turned toward Greg and said, "I'm just browsing for now. Maybe take a look at a few models." "Absolutely," Greg replied, trying to mask his confusion. "We have some great options. Do you have a particular brand in mind?" Barron nodded slightly, indicating that he was interested in exploring the more exclusive brands. As Greg went on about the features of some of the cars, Barron barely listened, his mind focused on the experience of seeing these machines up close. There was something calming about the quiet beauty of the showroom, something private in the way these cars seemed to belong to a world Barron wanted to be part of. He could already feel the weight of the legacy that came with being a Trump. However, things began to take an awkward turn when Greg, feeling a bit too comfortable, made a comment that would come back to haunt him. "You know," Greg said, "it's great to see young guys like you coming in here looking to spend some real money. We don't get many customers your age, but when we do, they know what they want." Barron paused. There was something about the way Greg said those words that felt off, as though Barron's presence was nothing more than a novelty, a gimmick for the salesman to brag about later. He wasn't offended, but it didn't sit right with him. The world he came from had always been filled with such assumptions and stereotypes, but he had worked hard to not be defined by those. "I'll take a look around for a bit longer," Barron replied curtly, feeling the tension in the air. Greg, still unaware of Barron's identity, was eager to make the sale. "Well, if you're interested in anything, just let me know. We offer a great financing option for young buyers like yourself. You might even want to look at the special edition model we just got in." Barron simply nodded, but as the salesman walked away, Barron's unease grew. It wasn't just the comment that bothered him, it was the whole attitude. The way Greg had assumed he was there to show off, to prove something. Barron wasn't like that. He didn't want to be treated as a curiosity. He wanted respect, and to be seen for who he was, not just as the son of a famous man. A few minutes passed and Barron's irritation began to build. He walked over to the high-end Maserati section of the showroom, hoping to clear his mind. Just as he was about to sit in one of the models, Greg came rushing back, clearly unaware of the tension that had already begun to form. "So, what do you think?" Greg asked, his voice a little too eager. Barron finally snapped, "You don't know who I am, do you?" Greg froze, his smile faltering for a brief moment before he recovered. I'm sorry, did I?" Barron sighed, his patience running thin. "I'm Barron Trump, and you're not treating me like a customer. You're treating me like a sideshow." There was a long silence as Greg processed the name. When the realization hit, his face turned pale. Barron Trump, the son of the former president. The weight of the name instantly shifted the power dynamics in the room, and Greg's demeanor shifted from overzealous salesman to uncomfortable apology. I didn't mean any disrespect," Greg stammered, trying to regain some semblance of composure. "I apologize if I said something wrong. I didn't realize," but Barron didn't let him finish. "It's fine," he said flatly. "I don't need to be treated differently because of who my family is." Greg's attempt to recover only made things worse. He offered a half-hearted apology and quickly retreated, leaving Barron standing there, feeling more isolated than ever. It was at that moment Barron realized that he didn't need the flashy cars, the glamour, or the attention. He just wanted to be treated with decency. He turned and walked out of the showroom, silently deciding that Hudson Motors was no longer a place he would consider for his car purchases. As he walked to his car, he took a deep breath, hoping to shake off the frustration that had clouded his morning. But things were about to take an even more dramatic turn. Only a few hours later, the showroom's calm atmosphere was shattered when a sleek black SUV pulled up outside. The door opened, and out stepped Melania Trump, Barron's mother. She had heard what had happened, and she was determined to take matters into her own hands. The moment her heels clicked against the marble floor of the showroom, the staff knew they were in trouble. Melania exuded grace and poise, her presence commanding attention without a single word. She approached the counter where the dealership manager Derek stood nervously, his previous confidence now replaced by visible anxiety. "Is there a problem with your customer service?" Melania asked coolly, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the room. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. Derek immediately started to stutter, apologizing profusely. "Mrs. Trump, I had no idea your son had been in earlier today. I assure you it wasn't intentional. Greg was just trying to do his job. You seem to forget that my son is a customer, and that should mean something," Melania responded, her voice calm but laced with authority. "Barron came here with the intention of buying a car. Instead, he was treated as if he were here for amusement." Her words were sharp, cutting through the tension in the room. The other employees who had witnessed Barron's earlier interaction stood frozen, unsure of how to react. Melania continued, her gaze fixed on Derek as though she could see right through him. "I would suggest you make it right," she said, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. Derek was flustered, but he quickly turned to the sales team, urging them to offer Barron the respect he deserved. He scrambled to find the right words, but it was clear that the damage had already been done. The trust between Hudson Motors and the Trump family had been shattered. In the days that followed, Hudson Motors found itself facing a public relations nightmare. The incident went viral, with news outlets and social media users lambasting the dealership for its treatment of Barron Trump. People were quick to criticize the staff for not recognizing him, for assuming that someone with such a name would be nothing more than a trophy customer. The dealership issued an apology, but it came too late. The damage to their reputation was already done, and many of their high-profile clients began to pull their business elsewhere. As for Barron, he had quietly moved on. He didn't want to make a spectacle out of the situation, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something important had been lost. The incident had revealed more about the world he inhabited than he cared to admit, and for Melania, it was a reminder of the lengths she would go to in order to protect her family, even if it meant turning an ordinary car dealership visit into a public spectacle. The aftermath of the incident at Hudson Motors reverberated far beyond what anyone had anticipated. The story of how Barron Trump had been subtly dismissed and how his mother, Melania Trump, had stepped in to address the disrespect spread like wildfire across social media platforms. Comment sections, forums, and news outlets exploded with opinions, ranging from sympathetic to critical, and the Trump family once again found itself at the center of public discourse. Barron, however, had retreated from the limelight as he always preferred to do. He wasn't interested in the attention this debacle had garnered, but he was keenly aware of its implications. The experience had left a bitter taste in his mouth, and he couldn't help but reflect on how the world often viewed him through the lens of his family name. What frustrated him wasn't the public curiosity or the media frenzy, it was how, in moments like this, people failed to see him as an individual. Melania, on the other hand, was far from finished. Known for her calm demeanor and strategic thinking, she had resolved to ensure that her son was treated with respect wherever he went, not because of his name, but because it was what he deserved as a person. She reached out to a trusted network of advisors to address the situation with Hudson Motors. While Melania wasn't one to court unnecessary drama, she understood the power of perception and the importance of accountability, especially when it came to businesses that claimed to cater to an elite clientele. In a quiet yet calculated move, Melania initiated a meeting with Derek, the dealership manager, and several of Hudson Motors' senior executives. The meeting took place in the private boardroom of a Manhattan skyscraper, a far cry from the polished showroom where the incident had unfolded. Melania arrived punctually, her presence radiating an unspoken authority that immediately silenced the room. "Thank you for meeting with me," she began, her tone steady and deliberate. "This is not about causing harm to your business. It is about ensuring that no other customer, regardless of their background or identity, is subjected to the kind of treatment my son experienced." The executives listened intently, their discomfort palpable as Melania outlined her concerns. She wasn't there to demand special treatment for her family. Instead, she emphasized the importance of professionalism and respect in all customer interactions. Her words carried weight, not just because of who she was, but because of how measured and thoughtful her approach was. By the time the meeting concluded, the executives had committed to implementing comprehensive staff training programs aimed at improving customer service and addressing unconscious bias. While Melania tackled the corporate side of things, Barron found himself on a personal journey of rediscovery. The incident at Hudson Motors had ignited a desire in him to learn more about the automotive industry, not as a consumer, but as someone who genuinely cared about the craftsmanship and engineering behind the vehicles. He began reaching out to independent car manufacturers and attending private workshops, eager to delve deeper into the world of cars that had always fascinated him. One such workshop was located in a small, unassuming garage on the outskirts of New York City. It was run by a retired engineer named Martin, who had spent decades designing engines for some of the most iconic cars in history. Martin's garage was a treasure trove of automotive history, filled with blueprints, prototypes, and hand-built models that showcased the artistry of car design. Barron approached Martin with humility, introducing himself simply as a young enthusiast eager to learn. Martin, who cared little for celebrity or status, welcomed Barron into his workshop without hesitation. Over the following weeks, Barron immersed himself in the world of car design and mechanics, learning how to assemble engines, craft custom parts, and even restore vintage vehicles. For the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of purpose that was entirely his own. Meanwhile, the ripples of the Hudson Motors incident continued to spread. Other customers began coming forward with their own stories of less than stellar treatment at luxury dealerships, highlighting a broader issue within the industry. The conversation shifted from being solely about Barron Trump to a larger dialogue about elitism, customer service, and the often superficial nature of high-end retail experiences. Hudson Motors, now under immense public scrutiny, began making visible changes to its operations. They revamped their customer service policies, introduced diversity and sensitivity training for their staff, and even launched a charitable initiative aimed at making luxury cars more accessible to underprivileged communities. While some viewed these efforts as performative damage control, others saw them as genuine attempts to rectify past mistakes. Barron, however, remained detached from the public discourse. His focus was on the tangible, hands-on work he was doing with Martin. As he honed his skills, he began to consider the possibility of turning his passion into a career. What if he could design his own car? What if he could create something that combined cutting-edge technology with timeless elegance? A vehicle that wasn't just a symbol of wealth, but a testament to innovation and sustainability. These thoughts consumed him, and he began sketching designs in his free time. His ideas were bold and ambitious, blending sleek aerodynamic shapes with advanced features like solar-powered engines and adaptive AI systems. When he shared his sketches with Martin, the older man was impressed by Barron's vision and encouraged him to pursue it further. "You've got a good eye," Martin said one afternoon as they worked on restoring a classic Jaguar E-Type. "And more importantly, you've got the passion. That's what this industry needs. People who care about the craft, not just the prestige." Buoyed by Martin's encouragement, Barron decided to take the next step. He reached out to a handful of automotive engineers and designers, assembling a small but talented team to help bring his vision to life. Together, they began working on a prototype, pouring countless hours into research, development, and testing. Barron's family supported his endeavor wholeheartedly, with Melania even offering to help him secure funding and connections within the industry. As the months went by, Barron's project gained traction. What had started as a personal passion project evolved into a full-fledged venture, attracting attention from investors and media outlets alike. The prototype, which Barron named the Ethereum, was unveiled at a private event in Los Angeles, attended by industry leaders, journalists, and car enthusiasts. The Ethereum was unlike anything the world had seen, a sleek electric luxury car that combined cutting-edge technology with sustainable materials and a minimalist aesthetic. The unveiling was a resounding success, earning Barron praise not just for his vision, but for his dedication to creating something meaningful. For the first time, the world began to see him as more than just the youngest Trump. He was a designer, an innovator, and a young man with a clear purpose. Hudson Motors, meanwhile, watched from the sidelines, their regrets deeper than ever. Not only had they lost a potential customer in Barron, but they had also missed out on the opportunity to be associated with his groundbreaking venture. Their misstep had cost them more than they could have imagined, serving as a stark reminder of the importance of treating every customer with respect and dignity. As Barron's star rose, he remained grounded, always crediting Martin and his team for their support and guidance. He continued to work tirelessly, driven not by a desire for fame or fortune, but by a genuine passion for what he was creating. And while the incident at Hudson Motors had been a catalyst for his journey, it was no longer the defining moment of his story. Instead, it became a footnote in a much larger narrative, one of perseverance, creativity, and the pursuit of excellence. For Melania, watching her son grow into his own person was a source of immense pride. She had always known Barron was destined for greatness, but seeing him carve his own path and earn respect on his own terms was more fulfilling than she could have ever imagined. Together, they proved that even in the face of adversity, it's possible to rise above and turn challenges into opportunities for growth and transformation. As the Ethereon hit the market, it wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a testament to the fact that respect, determination, and innovation could create something truly extraordinary. Hudson Motors could only watch from afar, a silent witness to the success of the young man they had once underestimated. The Ethereon's debut had created a seismic shift in the automotive world. Within weeks of its unveiling, orders poured in from high-profile clients, tech moguls, and eco-conscious celebrities who were captivated by the car's blend of luxury, sustainability, and cutting-edge technology. Barron Trump's name became synonymous with this revolution in car design, and his reputation grew beyond that of a Trump heir. He was now a young visionary standing at the intersection of art, engineering, and environmental consciousness. Barron's workshop, once a modest garage where dreams were sketched and prototyped, was transformed into a state-of-the-art design lab. The Ethereon project had attracted global attention, and automakers from Europe, Japan, and the United States sought collaborations with Barron's team. But he was selective. This was not a race for mass production. He wanted the Ethereon to stand for something larger, a shift in how humanity viewed transportation and its impact on the planet. Though Barron was gaining fame, he was still the same reserved and thoughtful individual he had always been. The whirlwind of success brought opportunities, but also challenges. Journalists clamored for interviews, eager to understand his journey and how he had risen from being a quiet teenager to a leader in the automotive industry. Barron agreed to only a handful of these interviews, choosing to focus his energy on his work rather than public appearances. One of these interviews was conducted by an award-winning journalist from a respected magazine. The journalist was keen to explore not just the Ethereon's technical brilliance, but also the philosophy behind it. Sitting in the sleek, minimalist headquarters of his company, Barron spoke candidly about the values that had driven him. "The Ethereon isn't just a car," Barron said. "It's a statement about how we can push the boundaries of what's possible without compromising the planet. Too often, luxury is seen as indulgence, but I believe true luxury lies in harmony between technology and nature, between design and functionality. My goal is to create something beautiful and sustainable that inspires people to think differently." The journalist pressed him further, asking how his upbringing had influenced his approach. Barron smiled faintly, choosing his words carefully. "I've grown up in a world where attention is constant, but that's not what shapes a person. I've been fortunate to have a mother who taught me the importance of grace and humility, and a father who instilled a relentless drive. But this project, it's mine. It's my way of contributing something meaningful." As the article went live, it painted a portrait of a young man deeply committed to his vision. Public perception of Barron began to shift further. He was no longer just Barron Trump. He was an innovator, a creator with a purpose that transcended his family name. The Ethereon's production continued to make waves. Each vehicle was crafted with precision and care, incorporating advanced AI systems that could adapt to a driver's habits while maintaining optimal energy efficiency. The car was equipped with a fully solar-powered charging system, an innovation that rendered traditional electric charging stations unnecessary for most users. Its interior was made of ethically sourced materials, including lab-grown leather and reclaimed wood. Every detail was meticulously considered, and it was clear that the Ethereon wasn't just a product, it was a masterpiece. But with success came scrutiny. Critics began questioning whether Barron's background afforded him advantages that others didn't have. Some accused him of leveraging his family's wealth and connections to fast-track his success. Barron, however, remained undeterred. He understood that such criticism was inevitable and chose to let his work speak for itself. "I can't control what people assume about me," he said in a rare public statement. "But what I can control is the quality of what I create. The Ethereum is not about me, it's about a vision for the future. And that vision belongs to everyone." Behind the scenes, Barron's team continued to innovate. Inspired by the Ethereum's success, they began conceptualizing additional models that could cater to different markets. One of these was the Ethereum Element, a more compact and affordable version of the original, designed for urban environments. Another was the Ethereum Voyager, a luxury SUV that combined off-road capabilities with the same sustainable ethos as the flagship model. Each new model pushed the boundaries of what was possible. The Voyager, for instance, featured a unique regenerative braking system that converted kinetic energy into additional power for the car's systems, making it one of the most energy-efficient vehicles in its class. The Element, on the other hand, was designed with modularity in mind, allowing users to customize and upgrade components as technology advanced, a stark contrast to the planned obsolescence that plagued much of the automotive industry. While the Ethereum brand flourished, Barron remained deeply involved in every aspect of the process. He personally tested prototypes, often spending long nights at the design lab to refine even the smallest details. His commitment to excellence inspired his team, many of whom described him as a leader who valued collaboration and creativity above all else. Meanwhile, the industry took note of Barron's disruptive approach. Traditional automakers began rethinking their strategies, realizing that the Ethereum had set a new standard for luxury and sustainability. Some tried to replicate his success by launching their own eco-friendly luxury models, but few could match the Ethereum's combination of innovation and authenticity. One of the more unexpected developments came when Hudson Motors, the dealership that had initially dismissed Barron, reached out to his team. They expressed interest in becoming a distributor for the Ethereum, hoping to repair their fractured relationship. Barron, ever pragmatic, considered the offer carefully. While he harbored no ill will, he was also mindful of the values he wanted his brand to represent. As the years passed, Barron's influence continued to grow. The Ethereum became a symbol of a new era in the automotive world, one where sustainability and luxury coexisted seamlessly. Barron's designs inspired countless young engineers and designers, many of whom credited him with sparking their own passions for innovation. Beyond the automotive industry, Barron also used his platform to advocate for broader environmental causes. He partnered with conservation organizations to promote reforestation efforts and invested in research aimed at developing cleaner energy solutions. For him, the Ethereum was just the beginning, a stepping stone toward a larger goal of creating a more sustainable future. Through it all, Barron remained humble. He often credited his success to the people who had supported him along the way. His mother, who had stood by him during the Hudson Motors incident. Martin, who had ignited his passion for car design. And his team, whose talent and dedication had brought his vision to life. In time, Barron's story became more than just a tale of triumph over adversity. It became a testament to the power of perseverance, creativity, and the unwavering belief that even the most challenging moments can lead to extraordinary opportunities. And while the world may have first known him as the youngest Trump, Barron's legacy was ultimately defined not by his name, but by the indelible mark he left on the world. As Barron Trump's Ethereum venture matured, its impact began to extend far beyond the automotive industry. His bold philosophy of merging luxury with sustainability began influencing other sectors, from high-end fashion to technology, where companies sought to emulate his ability to innovate while maintaining ethical integrity. The Ethereum became more than a car. It symbolized a movement, one that demanded accountability from industries often associated with excess and environmental disregard. Amid the growth of his enterprise, Barron found himself increasingly drawn to exploring the intersection of technology and sustainability. He envisioned a future where the principles he had pioneered with the Ethereum could redefine urban infrastructure. One of his most ambitious projects was the development of smart highways, roads designed to interact seamlessly with electric vehicles to optimize energy use and reduce traffic congestion. The idea involved integrating solar panels directly into roadways, capable of charging vehicles as they drove, while advanced AI systems monitored and managed traffic patterns in real time. To bring this vision to life, Barron collaborated with leading experts in renewable energy, urban planning, and artificial intelligence. Together, they created pilot projects in select cities, transforming stretches of conventional highways into dynamic, eco-friendly systems. The early results were promising, with significant reductions in both energy consumption and commute times. The initiative earned him praise as a pioneer of sustainable urban development and further cemented his reputation as a forward-thinking innovator. While his professional success continued to soar, Barron maintained a sense of humility that resonated with those around him. He often visited schools and universities, speaking to students about the importance of innovation and the need to address global challenges with courage and creativity. His appearances were never flashy. Instead, they were thoughtful and sincere, driven by a desire to inspire the next generation of thinkers and makers. One particularly memorable visit was to a small technical college in the Midwest, where Barron met a group of engineering students working on an ambitious solar-powered car for a competition. He spent hours discussing their design, offering advice, and even suggesting ways to improve their prototype. When the students asked him about the pressures of success, he smiled and said, "It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and being willing to fail until you find something extraordinary." The Ethereans' influence began to shape cultural attitudes as well. Luxury, once associated with excess and exclusivity, was being redefined as a blend of ethical responsibility and innovation. Barron's work inspired other entrepreneurs to rethink their approaches, with companies in industries like hospitality, real estate, and even food production incorporating sustainability as a core principle. As the world continued to change, Barron remained steadfast in his belief that true progress was only possible through collaboration and purpose-driven action. His journey, which began in a moment of dismissal and disrespect, had grown into a legacy of transformation. It was a testament to how resilience, vision, and a commitment to values could reshape not just an industry, but the way people envision the future itself. As Barron Trump's influence expanded, he began exploring philanthropic initiatives tied to his ethos of innovation and sustainability. He established the Etherean Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to advancing clean energy research and supporting young inventors from underrepresented communities. The foundation provided grants, scholarships, and mentorship opportunities, ensuring that bright minds with limited resources could turn their ideas into reality. One of the foundation's first success stories was a teenage inventor from a rural town who developed a cost-effective water filtration system using renewable energy. Barron personally mentored the young innovator, helping refine the project and connecting him with industry leaders. The experience reinforced Barron's belief in empowering others to shape the future. Despite his monumental achievements, Barron remained introspective, often retreating to his workshop to tinker with new ideas or reflect on his journey. He valued these quiet moments, using them to stay grounded and connected to the passion that had sparked his journey. For Barron, the Etherean had become more than a vehicle. It was a beacon of possibility. His journey, from a misunderstood teenager to a visionary leader, was a powerful reminder that even the smallest spark of determination could ignite profound change in the world. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on the car dealership's decision to kick out Barron Trump? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.